Here I am recording another video. This one is about my dad and what happened to him and why he passed away when I was 16. He was 55. Sorry about the noise. I turned on this heater. If you watch my videos, you know that I have a heating problem in my house and I am cold very often. That's why I'm wearing this heated jacket. I can make another video about this jacket. It's very cool. I love it. It keeps me warm. I can make it like even hotter. I don't know how to pronounce it right. Hotter. More heat. That's what I wanted to say. So, like, I had written down 10 things about my father here, and number one that I wrote down is he was hella funny, man, and I will always remember him that way, and that's like the best trait that I could take from him. And he met my mother at a bar because my mother had divorced with her husband, and my mother was she already had kids back then when she met my father. She had 2 kids, and she was looking for someone because her first husband wasn't reliable anymore, and they divorced. But yeah, she went to pub and she heard my father. First thing that she heard, she told me, was his voice. She heard this like deep voice, and I'm very thankful to my father about this voice. I have like kind of deep voice myself as well, and my mother like fell in love. I don't know. She liked him and they hooked up at the second date, and my mother took some birth control pills that didn't work and I was born. So yeah, that's like the past about how my father met my mother and how I was made, and how things changed from there. My mother told me that at first she knew that my father will be a good father because he was good with kids. He had a good sense of humor, and it helped him to connect with her kids. She had to connect with her kids. It helped my father, the humor, and you know, my mother just saw him handling the kids and joking with them, and she thought, well, this could work, but it didn't. They changed. My mother changed and my father changed. And what changed was my father realized that he can't stand this woman, and I understand. My mother is like difficult because she doesn't filter anything she says, and all the stress and everything, it just comes right out of her, and she gets like frustrated easily. And when things doesn't happen as the way she wants, then she gets mad quickly. And my father, I think he didn't like that at all. And he also didn't like our house, I think, because it was such a little house. I probably can show you. I I don't care. You can dox me, whatever. So this is my house, and as I mentioned before, my mother lives in a separate building, and this was where I grew up, this small house. And well, it's not like a dog's house, like super small. It's not like bird's house. It's okay, but we were like many people living there. My grandfather as well, and my father. He's like introvert and he likes to be alone, so he left. So now I'm talking about my first grade and my first year at school. That's when my father left. And when he left, it wasn't like dramatic. He just visited us less and less and never stayed at night at this house. So I visited him more and more where he lived alone. Back in the day, he was living with his mother, my grandmother, and his father, my grandfather. So he wasn't like alone, but I will explain later what happened there in his house. In his house, what happened, I will explain. Whatever, let's just talk about how I felt during these times. And I remember my father, I didn't understand why my father isn't coming, but I kind of get it. He didn't want to be there, which is kind of sad when I think about it now, but like I forgive him. But you know, I was mad a lot. I called him and I asked him to come to visit us, to bring something tasty, because he was almost always bringing something good, some drinks and some snacks, and I associated him with something good, but I couldn't get it because he wouldn't come, because he didn't like my mother and blah blah blah. And he also had he had one child before that, and that child was teen at that time, like 14, 15, I don't know. And I was like first grade child, starting my school. So that's when shit got wrong. Later I found out that my father was taking pills for depression. And I believe it was something like Prozac or Xanax. I'm not really sure, I don't really care. I will never take one pill of antidepressants in my life. But he took those. He was also an alcoholic, I forgot. But he quit when he was living with us during these years, when he lived with us in this house. He was a recovering alcoholic, so he was also a smoker. But let's just skip that for now. So when things went wrong and he left, I remember he was gaining weight a lot, and he was not healthy at all. I don't really remember him as a healthy person. And yeah, he smoked. Let's talk about that. I remember he was drunk sometimes when I was a little kid, and he gave me money, and he told me to get some cigarettes from the store for him. And my mother was angry, and she was yelling at him because it's such a stupid thing to ask to a kid. I was, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. So that popped in my mind, fucked up. And yeah, but about my father, he served in the army, and I think that was when he started smoking and drinking in the army. And the drinking was hard, but he quit it. He also tried to quit smoking, but that didn't end up good. He started vaping, and at that time, vaping wasn't better than smoking. It was new thing, and some like questionable chemicals were added to these vape juices, and I think he got like his health got worse, certainly, because of these vape juices. He was obsessed with like vaping and smoking, and I wanted to talk about that with him, but just couldn't. I just didn't know how, and I ended up starting smoking as well as a teenager, as a young teenager, at the age of 12 or 13. So yeah, he's probably guilty, because, well, he never was a good father figure to me. Well, he was just pathetic in some ways. Of course, there was something good about him, but like, in general, man, he was such a bad father. And well, he's dead. I forgive you, Father, but you didn't do your job well. Well, you did something, but it wasn't enough. So yeah, now I think it explains why I had these anxieties as a kid and as a teenager especially. And yeah, now you can like kind of see where this is going, where how my father, like, one decision after another, and how these decisions led him to his death. Gaining weight, smoking, drinking, heavy drinking, not like drinking for socializing. No, he was drinking alone, getting very drunk and vomiting. And I remember all of that. And yes, he quit drinking. It's something to be like proud of. It's just one thing to be proud of, that he quit it. But he never quit smoking, and he never started to exercise or eat healthy or just like talk about his depression. He never did that. And he wasn't poor. He had money, and he knew how to earn money. I remember his wallet was full most of the times. Of course, when I was a kid, I checked his wallet and stole a bit of money from him, like 50 cents or €1, which is $1. But he gave me money when I asked. And that's also one thing to be proud of about my father. He never left me without my lunch money, or with a like with shoes that are just broken, or how do I call shoes when they are like done, when they are like worn down. He bought me new shoes and new shirts and new clothes on time, and he enjoyed that. He enjoyed buying me stuff. So that's one thing that I will talk about. I appreciate all these things he did with the like materialistic things, like food, money, and my like equipment for my hobbies. He provided that, but these are materialistic things, man. I wish he would like open up to me about his addictions, about his weaknesses, about his years in the army, about how like he doesn't stand my mother. He was quiet about it. He mentioned like he can't stand my mother, but he never got deep into that, and he never really talked about it. So that's what was missing, like talking, you know. And man, I wish that my father would just be honest and tell to me that, man, I don't know how I'll survive. Like, I wish he told me like about these pills he's taking, about the illnesses he has. I still don't know why exactly he passed away, but I can imagine that all these factors, they're not good. And all these decisions that led him to that point. Anyway, where were we? We were, yeah, he gained weight, he smoked a lot, he wasn't taking care about himself, and he was alone a lot. See, when he was leaving and he left and he lived with his parents passed away, man. Year after year, his mother passed away, then his father passed away. And it happened like when I was 10, his mother passed away, and when I was 11, his father passed away, or something like that. I don't remember the years correctly. But yeah, it happened during 2-year window, and he was alone in a house somewhere that was far away from our house. But I visited him, and we had fun together. He bought some old cars, and we drove with him. We drove these cars with him, and we repaired mopeds and motorcycles, and we went motorcycling together during my like teenage years. I'm talking about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. I visited him a lot, sometimes every day. My mother wasn't happy about it, but she couldn't arrest me or take it away from me. And I wanted to stay there. I enjoyed like being with my father, maybe even more than being with my mother, because my mother was like very, very strict, and she was always making sure I'm like not hungry, and really with the food, always with the food, and making sure I'm not like late for school. My mother was always just like focused uh, on these things, and so that's why I didn't get a bond with my mother. Also, she was always just talking about food and school, and the most important thing to her was that I was not hungry and I had been to the school. And she, of course, she brought me to these after-school activities, like drawing and painting. But like I never spent time with my mother. I spent time with my father. He was like the bestie to me, and my mother was just like I don't know, almost like a teacher. So yeah, that's me talking about how I visited my father, and yeah, he was alone a lot, and his parents died, and he was a hoarder. That's the next thing that I will talk about. My father was a hoarder, and he brought some bullshit to his house. He bought some TVs and some computers. He bought some machines, motorcycles, very different tools he bought all the time, and he just collected and collected more and more. And he had a motorcycle, he had a car, like a TV for himself. We didn't have no TV, he had a TV. I was kind of jealous. And I remember my siblings told me that he's thinking only about himself, and he's like a selfish guy for buying all these good things to himself. But he also bought some good things to us, like pools, like these pools that you can pump up and fill with water, pump it up with the air, and then fill the water in, fill it up with water. And also he bought a trampoline for us. He bought a quadricycle for me. And well, he bought all these materialistic things. And it was fun. It was fun watching his television and spending time on his computer, spending time on the internet. I remember his computer was the only access to the internet. And yeah, that's why I associated my father with all these good things. But here's the truth. He was never real about what's going on. And he was hiding all these problems. And that's worse. My mother was always talking about what's wrong and what frustrates her, or what worries her. She was talking about it. My father was just quiet. He was never talking about what's wrong with him. And that's what led him to his fate, I believe. and I hope you can learn something from him. His hoarding, his materialistic obsessions. He was a smart guy and very creative and funny. But also, he wasn't taking care for himself. And here we go, 25 minutes yapping about my father's death. And I want to show you some pictures with my father that could be fun. Maybe in the next video I could tell you some stories about my father. And yeah, I could also tell some good stories about my father. It sounds so dramatic and so dark, but it wasn't so dark when I was a kid. It was dark sometimes when I think about, oh, my father was smoking a lot and becoming fat. And yeah, it was sad, but also there were like a lot of good memories and good conversations with my dad. We used to talk about the universe, and we had a connection. Don't get me wrong, we had a good connection. Way better than the connection I had with my mother. But the thing is, he wasn't a good father figure, and he wasn't taking care about himself. And yeah, my father figure is my grandfather. He's like a good man, and he's still here. He's living in the small house, and I helped him today to clean the chimneys. But yeah, I will talk 3 more minutes. I just want to talk about myself now, and why I'm reflecting about my father. It's because I saw one video on YouTube, which is called "Family is the opposite of depression is family." Like, family is the opposite of depression. Well, it blew my mind. It's a video by Snooks. I will link it down, and I advise you to watch that, because he explains how, like, having a good relationship with your family, with your mother and your father, how it can really improve your life and cure your depression. Because all these addictions, and it's an escape, and it's escape from responsibility. And we all have a responsibilities. We all have to be good sibling, good daughters, good sons, and good granddaughters, good grandsons. We have to be like, we all have family, right? We all have mother, we all have a grandparents, or had grandparents. We all had these people around us at some point. And even if they're not around anymore, you still have to like dig down and dig deep, and you have to like understand what was going on, and you have to understand them, and you have to understand yourself. You have to forgive them if they're not around. You have to forgive them if they are around, and you just have to take care of them, take care of your family, and you just have to be a good person in order to be a good family member. And so yeah, depression is just like the opposite. When you're depressed, you're sinking into these addictions, into this destructive behavior, and you are like not taking care about connections with your family, and it's a vicious cycle because uh, it takes away from you. It takes away from you your humanity and your sanity. Okay, I think it's enough for today. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about at this point.